Jamie and welcome back to my channel. As we are reaching the end of 2023, I thought it might be fun to do a little roundup of my favourite things that I have watched in 2023. This will include shows that came out in 2023. It'll also include like seasons, if it's like a season 2 or a 3 that came out this year, and also shows that I watched for the very first time this year. So yes, there's quite a lot, so it might be a bit of like a speed roundup. First of all, I'm just going to quickly mention the shows that I've talked about a lot on my channel before. Ghosts season 5, absolutely amazing end to the season. I'm very much looking forward to the Christmas episode. If you're a fan of Ghosts and you haven't seen videos on my channels before, I've done an episode review of every episode in series 5, and also I did that with series 4 as well. Taskmaster series 15 and series 16 came out in 2023, both fantastic seasons. I particularly loved series 16. And Taskmaster New Zealand series 4, I have just done a video doing a full review, but I also did a review of the first 2 episodes when they initially aired. Yes, such a fantastic season of Taskmaster as well. I'm going to split this video up into comedy shows and drama shows, but first I'm going to talk about a TV show special documentary, which was Rod Gilbert's Pain in the Neck, which was the documentary about his cancer diagnosis and treatment. This was such an important watch and such a sad watch. Obviously it's optimistic at the end because he does get an all clear, which is fantastic, but I just thought the whole documentary was so incredible and so vulnerable and raw, showing all the difficulties of going through cancer treatment and also all the anxiety that comes about with it and how scary it is. And I think it was really important, I think especially show a man going through it, because a lot of the time, you know, men don't often talk about health issues or talk about mental health issues as well. But I think Rod being very open about all of his struggles, not only through just the treatment, but also his mental struggles about, like, I can't imagine how horrible and scary that would be. But I thought, the whole documentary was so important. Like, if you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's very, very, very good. And obviously it's for Stand Up for Cancer as well. The whole documentary was so emotional, but it had that like undercurrent of Rod's like warmth and his humour about it, which we all love. But yeah, it was such an incredible documentary. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't. It's on channel 4 if you do want to watch it. So on to the comedy shows that I really loved this year. One that I have done a video about but I wanted to talk about especially on this is Taskmaster Australia. I've rewatched this recently and I can't really remember what my review was like. I think I was largely positive, but I rewatched it and like, it's such a good season of Taskmaster, and for it to be the first season of Taskmaster Australia, like they have absolutely nailed it. Like they have done such a good job. I definitely appreciated it a lot more rewatching it. I don't know why, maybe because I was kind of familiar with all the people on it and stuff like that. But I thought this was such a strong season. Like the tasks are so good. The contestants all had a great energy from the start. I thought both Toms were fantastic, particularly Tom Cashman especially. Like I thought his role of the assistant was very strong. But yeah, I think, as I said, I was very positive about it in my initial review. But yeah, I just wanted to emphasise like how good it is. It's amazing. It's so good. And I think as a first season, it was better than Taskmaster New Zealand Series 1, even though that was very strong as well. Another one I've done a video on recently, but again wanted to just put it here as well if you haven't seen that, is Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. If you like Taskmaster New Zealand, you have to watch this. It's so funny. It's obviously hosted by Guy Montgomery and it's comedians doing a spelling bee. What's not to love? It's fantastic. Okay, so on to other comedy shows that I haven't talked about largely on this channel. Starstruck season 3. This is Rose Matafeo's rom-com. Rom-com I guess is probably the best term to use for it. This was the final season of that, and while I am absolutely gutted that the show had to come to an end, I think Rose did an absolutely fantastic job rounding up the whole show. It was like sad, a little bit heartbreaking because you're rooting for this couple, but very optimistic at the end, and I think just a really great message, subverting some kind of rom-com tropes where, you know, it all ends up happily ever after and the couple's together and all the flaws that they had as a couple are completely gone and it's all happy. But yeah, I thought while it was heartbreaking, I did love the ending and the message. It's very good, it's very funny, all the characters are very well done. Next is a show called Colin from Accounts, and this originally aired in Australia, but it's currently on BBC iPlayer if you want to watch it. It's again kind of a little bit of like a rom-com-ish thing, but it's about two people who meet when they accidentally run over a dog and then end up having to, work out who's paying for the treatment, who's looking after the dog, because it ends up it's like being disabled, like its back legs don't work, so they have to care for this dog, and it's about their kind of friendship and relationship and stuff like that. It's very, very sweet, but also just like very funny. The characters are very flawed, but you're rooting for them. They're really, really well constructed characters. I think both of them annoy you at parts, but also, like I said, you're just rooting for them to be happy. And I just thought it was really, really funny. And Colin, the dog, is so cute. I think it's just a wonderful show. I'm really excited. I don't know if there is going to be a season 2, but I hope there is. But yeah, I had no idea what the show was when I started watching it. I just heard people talking about it and saying it was good. And from the title of the show, Colin from Accounts, I didn't expect this to be what I got when I watched it. But as I said, very, very good show. Next is Hellraiser, specifically season 2 of Hellraisers, because that came out recently. I thought this was a great continuation of series 1. I don't think it's as strong as series 1. I think mainly because Lucy Beaumont isn't a writer for season 2 anymore. It's a very, very silly show, just about 3 women who are living in Hull. 2 have families and 1 is a policewoman. And yeah, their lives are all kind of like intertwined, very close. And yeah, I think it's just a really, really fun show. One's like a struggling actress, or like wanting to be an actress but struggling with like, being a mum and all kind of like the responsibilities that come with that. It's very fun. I think particularly the 3 main characters are just hilarious. They're very well written. Like, again, they're just so silly. It's got, if you liked Lucy Beaumont's humour in Taskmaster, then I would highly recommend watching this. She's not in it, but her like very wild humour and outlandish humour is very much evident in this, as I said, particularly in season 1. Next up is Year of the Rabbit, which didn't come out this year, but I watched it for the first time because I really enjoyed Susan Wokoma on Taskmaster, and it also has Matt Berry in it, and it is a show I'd kind of seen, but because it only had 1 season, I was a bit reluctant because I just thought, I'm going to love it, and then I'm going to be disappointed because there's only 1 season, and that did happen, but I did really enjoy the show. It's very fun, very, very silly, but with like a kind of intriguing plot. It's about a detective in like Victorian London. Matt Berry is the detective. Susan Wokoma is the police chief's like adopted daughter who is wanting to be the first female police officer. As I said, it's a show that's no season 2. It's very wild, very outlandish. If you like Matt Berry, then watch this because it's very Matt Berry. But yes, just absolutely hilarious. I think Susan Wokoma is fantastic. The next show is another one that I have done a video on, which was Extraordinary, and that is on Disney+. I'm very excited for season 2. If you're not aware, it's a show about the world where everybody has a superpower except for the main character. She hasn't developed her superpower yet. And I think it's just a wonderful idea. It's got lots of actors that I like in it. But also a lot of new actors as well. It's really good. As I said, I really enjoyed it. The main character is good. Again, a bit flawed. She's kind of like a bit of a bad person, but it's hilarious. There's just so many wonderful parts about Extraordinary, and it ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I think it has been renewed for season 2, which is great because I was really invested in it. I really liked all the characters, especially her best friend. I really enjoyed her character who can like talk to like dead people. But so I'm excited to see where they'll go from it, whether she does develop a superpower or not. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Next is Inside Job, which again didn't come out in 2023, but this is an animated comedy about somebody who works for the deep state and basically orchestrates conspiracy theories. Like, the idea is that all the conspiracy theories that people have are true about like the royal family being like lizards and presidents being replaced by robots, and it's about them orchestrating it and trying to keep it a secret, but also kind of like the politics of inside the deep state and the Illuminati and all this kind of thing. It's very fun. Unfortunately, Netflix did cancel it after renewing it for a 2nd season, which is so annoying. There is another show that I'm going to talk about in the drama section that has been cancelled as well, which I'm just so annoyed at. It's just infuriating at this stage. If you haven't seen it, still give it a watch. I think it's very good. If you like kind of animated comedies, I think you'd enjoy it. The next show is Kunk on Earth, which I think everybody watched this year. I thought it was just genius, just so funny. I kind of like history programs that are a bit funnier because a lot of history is just ridiculous, and I think Diane Morgan really elevates the ridiculousness of it. And yeah, she's just hilarious. I think the way that she's developed Philomena Kunk as a character throughout her years playing it, like it's not just in this, it goes back from other things. But yeah, I thought this was really good, very, very funny. And that's on BBC, Netflix. I think it's on both. It's definitely on Netflix, because I think that's kind of what popularised it, like on the internet and stuff. And last but not least is something a bit different. This is Game Changers, slash other shows that are on Dropout, slash YouTube. So this is kind of like a web series which was created by what was College Humour and is now Dropout. And the main one that I watch is Game Changers. I watched the 3 episodes that are on YouTube, and I'm probably going to be subscribing to Dropout or like becoming a member on their YouTube channel to be able to watch their other episodes, because it's such a good show. Essentially what it is, it's the game, it changes every time. You've got the same host, 3 contestants, and they don't know what the game is going to be when they start playing it. So they kind of have to work out the rules and stuff like that. Lots of twists, lots of like traps for them to fall into. Simple things just like playing a game of Simon Says, or they'll have something where they'll like record their heart rate. So like if their heart rate goes above a certain point, then they won't get a point in that round. To me, it's kind of a mix between like Taskmaster and Guy Wants Spelling Bee in like the aesthetics and the tricks and the puzzles and everything like that. If you like improv, then watch this and like make some noise. It's very improv heavy. I've never been a big fan of improv, but I've always kind of like appreciated the art of it. But this is just hilarious. Yeah, and if you like kind of like tricky challenges in games, definitely give this a watch. As I said, there's a few free episodes on YouTube. All of the contestants that have been on the show have always been very entertaining, so I cannot wait to watch this even more. But it has been out on YouTube for a few years, and so I'm surprised that I haven't seen it before, because I did used to watch College Humour when that was a thing. But it's only because I started getting clips recommended to me on YouTube Shorts that I figured out I found it and have been enjoying it since. So that's all of the comedy shows that are stuck in my mind for doing a roundup. And on to the drama. The first one that I've got here is Lockwood & Co., which is the other show that I said has been cancelled. And I watched this just for something that was a bit of like a cosy, don't really have to pay too much attention to it, because for me it kind of just seemed like a teeny show, but I kind of was intrigued by the premise of it, just being like ghost hunters. But it was really good. I really enjoyed this. I was very invested. I thought all the characters were good. It's definitely something I would have enjoyed if I was like 14, 15, but as a 24-year-old, I still very much enjoyed it as well. Yeah, and it got cancelled, which was so annoying, because it left on a bit of a cliffhanger. Like there was a big secret that they were teasing it about being revealed, and I hope it gets picked up by another channel or another like network. Yeah, because it was revealed on that Netflix recently released their kind of like viewing figures, and it was the 4th, I think, most watched show in the UK, and it got cancelled. I just don't understand it. I'm guessing it was kind of expensive to make because like visual effects, but so disappointing. I thought it was really, really good. The premise of this show is that there was like an event that caused ghosts to appear, and adults cannot sense the ghosts, but like children and teenagers can. So they're basically employed to hunt these ghosts and trap them. It's just very fun, and I did really enjoy the plot. Again, it's not really something that I would have gone to initially, but I was just feeling something a bit like, I don't know, like comforting, a bit nostalgia, even though I hadn't really seen it before. It just kind of, the premise reminded me of the kind of books and shows I would have watched when I was younger. And I said, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really gutted that it's been cancelled. Next up is White Lotus, which is another show that kind of went a bit viral on the internet. It's just absolutely wild. It's just rich people being insane, and I absolutely love it. It's so good. You never really know what's going to happen, even though it's revealed that there's like someone who dies at the start of the episode, and then it's like, I still have no idea what's going on until it's kind of like revealed in the last episode what's happening. But yeah, it's so good. I wasn't sure what to expect from it, but if you haven't seen it, the premise is basically a bunch of rich people are on holiday at a resort, the White Lotus, which has resorts in different places. It's revealed that a death happens at some point in the holiday, and you just basically following these rich people on their holiday, doing insane things, being ridiculous, just being bad people, and it's revealed who's killed at the end. But yeah, so dramatic. The next show is Blue Lights, which is a crime drama that was released on BBC. It takes place in Northern Ireland, so there's kind of like touching on like the Troubles and the conflict between Protestants and Catholics, and I think it does touch on a lot of important issues. The main character is somebody who used to be a social worker, so she kind of brings in a bit of a more humane approach to dealing with people who are obviously struggling with mental health issues. It's a very good show, and I thought, the plot was very good, and I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited for season 2. The next show is Screw season 2, which came out this year, and this was a really good follow-up to season 1 as well. It's got Jamie Lee O'Donnell, who played Michelle in Derry Girls, which is what made me watch it in the first place. And while the show does have like dark humour elements to it, I think it is really nice seeing her in a more serious role, because I think she's just a fantastic actress. And yeah, the premise of this is just she is a prison guard in a male prison, and about all the struggles of that, like the underfunding and how, again, prisoners are kind of treated badly. Next up is Bodies, which is like a weird time travel murder mystery show, which is where murder happens in 4 different time periods. They're all it's all linked, and it's very odd. It almost didn't make the list because there are quite a few like plot holes and things that didn't really make much sense. But I can't deny that I really enjoyed it, and I was really invested in it. I wasn't that invested in like the future timeline. I liked the old ones, particularly the 1800s or something. That one I particularly liked, but the modern day one and the like World War II one I thoroughly enjoyed as well, so I didn't really care about the future one. But yeah, I was invested and entertained, so it's made the list. And that's on Netflix if you wanted to watch it. Next is a show called Tiny Beautiful Things, and this is on Disney+. It's about, I've got to give this with a warning because it's advertised on Disney+ as being a drama comedy. And the premise of it is, it's a woman whose kind of life is falling apart, and she starts an advice column. And I thought, that sounds funny. That sounds like it's going to be good. This is possibly one of the saddest shows I've ever seen. It is heartbreaking, and I don't know how it can be advertised as a comedy. Like, it was so sad. Like, I was crying through most of the episodes. I genuinely thought I was going in for kind of like a light-hearted, silly comedy. But yeah, as I said, just horrifically sad. But it's so good. I do recommend. But yeah, as a warning, it is emotional. But it's Catherine Hahn is the main character, and she's absolutely fantastic as usual. But yeah, it is a good show. But yeah, just be warned, it's not it's not as lighthearted as it sounds. Next is a show called Lincoln Lawyer, which is a drama about a defense lawyer who, because of like addiction issues, lost all of his like clients. But then when his old law friend died, he gave his whole law practice to this defense lawyer, and he has to basically take on all of his clients. And one thing I like about this is, again, you're kind of seeing it from like the crime drama from a different angle, rather than like the police investigating it. You've got, the defense lawyer, which has been done before. It's not that original. But one thing I like about it is you never know if the character that he's defending is innocent or guilty until like the very last episode, because there's like a lot of twists and turns to it, which I quite like. Obviously, I had kind of like my inclinations about certain characters. And that is on Netflix if you're interested about it. I really enjoy it, not only just like the courtroom part of it, but also the personal part of it as well, because he has, one part of the story is that he has like 2 ex-wives, one who is a prosecutor, I think, and one who works with him, and her fiance works with him as well because he's a private investigator. And a lot of the time you'd think going into that there's going to be like ridiculous drama between like the ex-wives and stuff, but no, it's really wholesome. Like, he just gets on with them really well, and yeah, I think it's just really nice. And last but not least is a show that I am currently watching. It might have finished by the time this video goes out, but it's called The Murder at the End of the World, and it's on Disney+. This show has like 2 mysteries going on like in parallel to each other, but like happening at different times. So you've got Emma Corrin's character, who is first of all investigating a serial killer. She's not a police officer or anything, she's just like an enthusiast about it. She has experience because her dad was like a crime scene investigator, and then she later on in her life she's invited to a retreat with a bunch of rich techie people, and they're kind of being killed off one by one. It's very entertaining, very much enjoyed it. I don't really know where it's going to go. I think there've been some good twists in it so far. But yeah, that's on Disney Plus, as I said. I think that's everything. I did intend this year, I did start this year tracking everything that I was watching so I could do a better review, but I completely forgot about it in like March. So there's probably shows that I have watched that I have missed off, and I have done a bit of rewatching as usual. So like I've rewatched some episodes of some seasons of Taskmaster and like other like sitcoms and stuff like that. But I think that's most things that I enjoyed this year, TV wise. Let me know what your favourite TV shows in 2023 were. It doesn't have to come out in 2023, just think that you watched for the first time this year. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos to do with television. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.